Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Nick Andrews. I'm with Liberty Mutual Insurance and welcome to today's video panel. Today's video panel is all about marketing tactics that work. So we're not going to discuss theory. We're going to be talking to actual independent insurance agencies who are using a marketing tactic that's actually driving business. So with that, I would like to welcome our three panelists for the day. I'd first like to welcome Jerry Nicklow. Jerry is from Huff Insurance, located in Pasadena, Maryland. Jerry, how you doing today?
Great, Nick. Thanks for having me.
So Jerry, how long have you been in the insurance industry?
Since I got out of college in 1995.
Jerry, what is your most used emoji?
I really don't use emojis, so I really don't have one.
So the blank face emoji, okay.
Or I could say the heart emoji for my wife. How's that?
Perfect.
There you go.
I love it. Next, joining us from the Bayou State, it's Beaux Pilgrim with Reed Insurance. Beaux, how you doing?
Oh, fantastic. Doing great.
And Beaux, how long have you been in the insurance industry?
25 years.
Beaux, if you were an Olympic athlete, what sport would you compete in?
I think I'd like to do the decathlon. One of those.
Okay.
Yeah, do a bunch of stuff.
I like it. Finally, we have Cameron Pechia straight out of Spokane, Washington with All Lines Insurance. Cameron, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And Cameron, how long have you been in the insurance industry?
So this will be 14 years. I started when I was 20.
Oh, wow. And Cameron, if you had to sing karaoke, what song would you pick?
Well, I've sang karaoke like twice, and one was at a college bar, and I sang Garth Brooks' Thunder Rolls. So we'll just go with that. And it was filmed. My girls love it.
That's great. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining today. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm actually going to jump straight into the lightning round. That means rapid fire questions for the entire field of agents. So when I get to you, try to answer as quickly as possible. Beaux, why don't we start with you? How long has your agency been utilizing paid search?
Since November last year.
Jerry?
Since 2012.
2012. And Cameron?
Wow.
We're probably going on 4 or 5 years with some form of paid search.
Okay, so Jerry, you've been using it the longest. And how long did it take you, Jerry, to get comfortable with paid search?
It was a learning curve. I mean, we first started out doing it through one of those yellow book companies that went digital, and that didn't work out so well. So I started doing it on my own. So it was a little bit of a learning curve. So I probably 3, 4, 5 months before I got used to the system, and then over the course of the next year, I got really fine-tuned in on how to set up the ads to perform well. So.
And Cameron, what about you? How long did it take you guys to get comfortable with paid search?
I would kind of mirror Jerry's answer a little bit there. There was definite learning curve there on ad copy, getting it set up. There's a couple different layers to once you dive in, what you're gonna explore and learn, and it's a lot of trial and error, split testing, A/B testing, what works, what doesn't, spending money. So I'd say the 3 to 6 month mark for sure.
What about you, Beaux?
I think about 2.5 months into it, I really started feeling like I kind of knew what I was doing, and at least understood what I was clicking, and then just kind of watching the results, doing the testing like like the other guys have said.
And Cameron, when your agency first started paid search, how long did it take for you to close your first policy from a lead that was generated through paid search?
We've always had decent website traffic and just organic ranking. So I would say within the first month of just getting anything out there and building traction. So
what about you, Beaux?
About 2 weeks. I think we wrote our first policy.
2 weeks. Okay. And Jerry?
Yeah, about the same. It was in the first couple of weeks that we wrote the first policy.
And if you're willing to share monthly budget numbers, Beaux, what are you guys actively spending on paid search?
We're doing $3,000 a month. I'm kind of splitting it between a few different things. About 1,000 on Google Ads, about 1,000 on Facebook, and then about 1,000 on Dave Ramsey ELP program.
Jerry, how about you?
The minimum I'll do is 1,000 a month, and if we got capacity, I'll up it up to as much as 2,000 a month just for Google Ads.
Cameron, how about All Lines Insurance?
We're pretty much in the same ballpark. We just scaled back some, and we're right about 2,000 a month, with the ability to go a lot higher, but we are getting too many leads coming in to be able to handle it. So we scaled back some.
Well, thank you so much. I was testing you guys to see if you're on your toes with an immediate lightning round, and you guys are all sharp and on top of it. So let's move on to the next question. One of the most common questions I hear from agents who are just getting started with paid searches, they want to know, should I send paid search traffic to my agency's homepage, an interior page on my website, or a completely separate, dedicated website that's just for this one policy? Jerry, what's your response to that?
First response is never to your homepage, because you're usually the ad is about a specific product, so you want to send them to whatever product that you're advertising to. So, I mean, there's nothing worse. I use the example in a presentation that you see a nice pair of shoes on the Target ad, and then next thing you click on the ad and you go to the Target homepage, then you got to try to dig down and find those shoes, and most people don't have the patience to do that. So if you're going to be advertising for, like we do, electrician insurance, you want to land them on your electrician's page. I do land them on an internal page on my site. I know there's some thinking that, dedicated landing pages where there's only one decision to make, whether to buy or not buy is the way to go. But we've had success of just taking them to our site. It's got pretty good information on there as well. So that's the way we do it.
So Cameron, how about all lines? Do you do interior pages or separate websites?
So we're unique with the sense that we've actually got a couple different brands with the niche market with the transportation and trucking division, that we drive that pay search to the trucking website, which we have a separate website for, and it's an interior landing page. And so, like Jerry said, if they do want to look around, I'm fine with them looking around, because by that point, I've captured them. They're in the marketing campaign and targeting campaign. Same with the personal lines piece. They go and get, they drive to interior landing page, or if it's a blog, it'll drive them to a blog. Whatever we're trying to do with that traffic, we'll come where we want. So.
And Beaux, how would you answer
An
that?
interior landing page, really with a form that they would fill out. They could pretty easily go to other places within our site. I did do a little bit of testing where it was a little bit more of an informational page versus just a pure form, and it seemed like I actually got more lead count from just the form.
So what I'm hearing is you want to drive traffic to the most relevant result possible. If it's about trucking insurance, bring them to trucking insurance, electrician. Jerry, can you speak a little bit about the importance of landing page relevance in Google's quality score and how they're ranking ads in the AdWords system?
Yeah, the quality score, what they'll do is they'll look at your landing page and then they'll look at the ad copy, and they'll give you a quality score of 1 to 10 based on the relevance of that page. One of the factors is the relevance of that page to the ad. So if you've got an ad for electrician's insurance, you just send them to your homepage, that's going to kill the quality score, which will then make you pay more to get that higher ranking spot. So the higher your quality score, the cheaper your clicks are going to be, because it'll cost you less to rank higher. Because somebody can have a great ad, but if the quality score is not as high as yours, your ad can be so-so, and you'll still get a cheaper click or a higher placement than they will. So the quality score is pretty good. That's why I like to have specific ads going to specific niches, not just, we don't have a general contractor ad. We break it down specifically based on the trade as well. So to try to make that quality score higher for those particular ads. So.
And Cameron, you mentioned you have some dedicated websites just for trucking insurance, and you send paid traffic there. Does that convert higher? Does that paid search traffic convert higher than some other marketing tactics that you do? Or
So yeah, it does. And I've got ROI figures. I don't know if you're getting into that. We can touch on that when you get there. But the trucking conversion converts at a much higher rate of return, but probably a couple factors there. And for paid search, I'm lumping in, as Beaux did, Facebook, Instagram, targeted ads, and other forms of advertising where I'm driving them to the website. And I would say yes, it converts higher.
and what about you, Beaux? Are you seeing what type of conversion percentage do you see with paid search traffic?
Ooh, percentage, I don't remember. I want to say I was having about 5% conversion Yeah, some of my weaker ones were around about 2%. My best one was 5%. The different ad copies I was using.
So from a tracking perspective,
Mm-hmm.
are you doing Google Analytics? Do you have tracking phone numbers, or how do you track the effectiveness of your paid search campaigns?
On Google, it was you can build it into their different triggers to record it as a conversion, whether it was either they dialed a specific phone number for our office, or because I had all the ad clicks were going to just a single person within the office. So if they either clicked on the phone number to dial the phone from the ad, or actually just filled out the form, then it would register as a conversion.
And Jerry, how are you tracking?
The main thing, I mean, we use the Google tracking, like you said. You can set up different points to count as tracking, but usually when they finish, give us their name and email address and phone number, and they hit the next button. That's where I trigger the conversion, because I got contact information. So from that point, I mean, our numbers, we convert about, I got it up to about 20%. I'm looking at my numbers on the other screen here. 20% conversion rate on the clicks. So we don't get as many clicks as we used to, because that's intentional. I've tweaked it to where we don't get all the clicks on the keywords we don't look for. So I've really tweaked it enough to get the clicks that do happen to be relevant. So, and I know, and they're all commercial, and Nancy, when they get in here, she's killer at closing, and she's about a 50 to 60% closing ratio when they come in. So,
Wow.
so we're not just looking for traffic. We look for relevant traffic, and I think we've tweaked the ads to where we're getting, our numbers are pretty good, not pure volume, but pure results driven. So
How long would you say that process has taken you to really just focus it in on just this perfect traffic and just high quality traffic?
It's an ongoing process. It took me probably a couple of years to really dig down and a lot of calls with Google, because when you're spending your money with Google, they're nice enough to assign an intern for you every quarter, and they'll work with you, and they'll go through and tweak your ads and go talk about the new features of Google ads. So it's kind of an ongoing thing, because every time you think you got it right, they go and change something. Then there's another feature, another extension, another whatever they want to put out there. And so it's kind of ongoing. But it took me probably that 6-month time period to figure out the negative keyword side of things, to say, I don't want this to show up, as just as important as the positive keywords. And once I started focusing on the negative keywords and say, get these out of here, that started saving me some money on clicks, because I wasn't getting the, I'm not going to say names, but it's competitor insurance quotes, as opposed to the quotes that just wanted to look for an independent agent or somebody dealing with the specific insurance product.
So what I'm hearing is paid search is this continually evolving. It's this continuous improvement. So Cameron, from like an ROI perspective, are you going in and actively adjusting your campaigns to try to optimize your ROI?
Yeah, so I think early on, and I'm probably the same, a year and a half, 2 years in to get to this point. Early on, I was doing a lot of testing, different ad copy, different pictures, verbiage, whatever you're going to do there to track it really closely. And it was kind of like a daily monitor, weekly adjustment, or 2-week adjustment, or monthly adjustment, or you assign a dollar amount and you let it run its course to see what performed better. Then I'd run that and do another variation of it, and just let it kind of pit each ad against each other and see what performed best. And then now it's got, I probably could be a little bit more proactive, but now it's really good. Our conversion rate's high. As Jerry said, once it gets in there, it's a very high intent lead. We just qualify up front, and so our conversion close ratio once they're in office is very high if they're serious about working. So.
And Beaux, I heard you mention earlier that you do social ads, and Cameron, you mentioned the same thing. So from a cost perspective, what's a more efficient use of dollars? Is it Google paid search, or is it Instagram ad, or a paid Facebook placement? Beaux, what do you think?
For us, the Facebook really didn't pay off at all for us. I had an outside ad agency that was actually working that for me. The Google ad was definitely doing better, and I could see I think a lot of it is the intent. I think the Facebook, it's more of you disturbing their day, and versus the Google is they're actually actively looking for whatever the product is. So it's a little bit easier to actually get them to convert. And I don't know, I imagine you have to really probably pour a little bit more money into the Facebook, I'd have to guess, but I'm not really sure.
And Cameron, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't really view it one versus the other. It's more of an all-around approach. So we're looking at everything as a whole as far as ROI in the agency right now for marketing, including our marketing staff. Every dollar spent, we get about $4.72 return. So, and that doesn't really actually track referrals off of that. That's just real time coming. So, and actually our Facebook targeted ads with the commercial stuff are dialed into where it's closer to a $7 or $8 return on a dollar spent.
Jerry, do you do any paid ads for on the social side?
No, I mean, Facebook, we just use it for more of a branding tool. We don't, as I tell people, I don't sell insurance on Facebook, but we've sold a lot of insurance because of Facebook. So we don't do lead capturing per se the same way we do on Google when it comes to Facebook.
So I talked to a lot of agents who are thinking about paid search, and what advice would you give to an agent who's on the fence, not sure if they should try it? How do you think they should go about paid search to get started?
I know I talked to several agents that were doing it already. Started there. A couple of them referred to me to a couple of Udemy classes online and did that. Seemed to help me to just understand, the whole process. And then, one thing is just really go into the mindset of just being patient. You listen to these other two guys. I mean, they worked for years to fine tune it to the point where they're at right now with the high conversion rates that they've got. So a lot of patience and ask around other agents that are being successful, and then maybe take an online course like through Udemy or something else.
And Cameron, what advice would you give to an agent who's looking to get started with paid search?
So I would look at a couple different things. I would look at your resources that are available you have on hand with your agency. So do you have marketing staff? Do you have the time and the ability to spend a good deal of time learning about it, seeking out coaches, mentors, reading and learning, because it's a big commitment. I would say if you have that and you're passionate about it and it makes sense for you to do it, you just dive in, spend money, prepare to fail, learn from those failures, adjust, just moving forward. Or if you don't, or you don't feel confident in it, just hire someone. Get some referrals from some credible sources and just pay a professional to assist you with it, I would say.
And Jerry, what advice would you give?
I'm going to say start small, and then that's in two senses. First, start small with your budget, because you don't want to throw $1,000 away before you really learn that you're not getting anything qualified. And start small as far as what you're niching. Don't go after insurance. If you go after insurance, you're going to spend a lot of money competing with all the cartoon characters. Find a niche, whether it be a homeowner's niche that you have for flood insurance or high net worth homes, or if you're going to go commercial lines, do specifically a niche that you have if you have a specific contractor like truck, or like Cameron has with trucking. I would definitely say those two things, really go small on both of those at first until you get comfortable with it, because you can design the perfect ad, but if you're not using the right keyword matching, the negative keywords, you're going to spend a lot of money on stuff that has nothing to do with your niche, just because of the word insurance in there, if you didn't carve it out right to be electrician's insurance as opposed to just any kind of insurance. So start small with the budget so you learn a little bit, and start small with your niches. Like pick a specific niche and go after it first.
Great, thank you. And I have a couple questions here from the audience. The first one is for you, Cameron. So are you doing Google ads and Bing ads, or just Google?
Right now, the focus is Google.
Thank you. The next question here is for Jerry. So Jerry, can you talk a little bit about how do you figure out what keyword to go after? What's your keyword research look like?
We try to use the lingo of the trade. So I mean, Nancy, she's the insurance part of this. She knows the insides out of the insurance world, and she talks to the contractors, the auto dealers. So when she kind of gives me a list of things that they talk about. So you want to go after not just, workers' compensation insurance for auto dealers, because that's not how they're going to look it up. They're going to look up workman's comp for car dealers, or so you want to try to find what language they're using, and not just try to do the basic insurance version. And then there's always just a few tools. There's a keyword search tool that Google itself has from Google Ads that you can use to put in a specific keyword, pick a territory that says predicts how many clicks you'll get and so forth. So you can use the free tools there as well. And then there's that one site, I can't remember, but it's got the one guy with the crazy eyeballs that you can put in a keyword search, and it brings up a big wagon wheel of different questions that they ask regarding that keyword. So, yeah, I mean, just, and you'd be surprised. I mean, it's not, a lot of people go after static insurance words, and that's not how the public's looking at it. Like workers' insurance is what they look up more than workers' compensation insurance. So if you got to kind of know what they're doing, and Google has a few tools that are just there to use. I mean, you start typing in a search, it brings up a suggested search. You start typing in electrician insurance, and you see all those suggested searches. Those are based on searches that are actually happening. So don't be afraid to use those as well. So
I heard a lot of nuggets of wisdom in there, Jerry, and one of them was to use the words that your clients are using, right? Because they're the ones who are going to Google. They're typing in other terms. So I think that's really smart. Beaux, question for you. You had mentioned that paid social ads didn't really work for you. Do you recall what type of ads those were?
Yeah, there's a few different things. Some of them were trying to get leads. Some of them were, just kind of more informational, trying to get them to call in. I know they did call rail, and they couldn't ever really get traction on that. And the leads, we got a few clicks on the lead ads, but not very many.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. That's all the questions we have for now. But before we depart, Jerry, how can agents reach out to you if they have any additional questions?
They can shoot me an email. It's simple as jerry@huffinsurance.com, HUFF insurance.com, or they can give me a shout out on the phone at 410-647-1111.
Cameron, what's a good contact for you?
I would say message on Facebook is a good avenue, or email, which is Cameron@alllinesinsurance.com. So ALLLINESURE.com.
Beaux?
Yeah, Facebook is fine. And then also email Beaux, BEAUX @REEDINSLA.com. Both of those work great.
Thank you so much. And just a reminder, you can always email me. I'm at agentprograms@libertymutual.com. Well, guys, thank you again so much for joining for the first ever video panel. Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.